Hello everybody, this is Daniel Hill, EFT, NLP life coach, clinical hypnotherapist and Enneagram mentor. I was at this hill 10 days ago and the coronavirus was just sort of taking hold, and now it's taking hold even further. We don't know how long it's going to be with us for. I was with my mother, an Enneagram type 6, who was worrying a hell of a lot. She is 73, she's had her tonsils removed, and she nearly died from the normal flu 2 years ago. She had an out-of-body experience because it was pretty bad. Anyway, she's self-isolating, and she has an ordinary chesty cough at the moment. But she was saying that this might last for 18 months. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We don't know. One of the things that we can do is to be present as much as we can. It's vitally important to do that in life normally, but if we can do that now and learn to do that now, it'll serve us when we come out of this, because we will come out of this. Everything has a time and a place, and everyone is in their own time and place. And this too shall pass. This too shall pass. I remember struggling, as I used to, with chronic depression. And I used to think that, well, at some point my life will end. I was thinking of ending it by my own hands, in my 20s and early 30s. And thankfully I survived an overdose when I was 30. And I am where I am. I'm 46 this summer, so I don't suffer with depression anymore. I uploaded a video actually about 2 months back, and it was like an anniversary of well, maybe it was all the way back in November. I think it was back in November, and I had a few people contact me as if I still suffer with it. I don't. You can move beyond it. I remember just thinking that, well, at least death will, end the depression. And of course I was thinking by my own hands, but then when I realized I didn't want to do that, there was a feeling of, well, at least I'll die of old age and the depression will be gone. Well, of course, the voice that saved my life said you haven't done everything yet. And one of the things I hadn't done was all of this. I'd just done classical therapy, psychotherapy and counseling, and that hadn't changed me. So I got into all of this, which is mostly American, and I sell it back to Americans with an English accent, because English people are not so open to this, and I do get more American clients because they're much more open-minded. But the fact was, this too shall pass. There was a relief in thinking that it will pass, the depression will pass. And of course, it had passed much sooner when I started to work on myself using all of these tools and these ways of changing your life. But it's something that we can apply to the coronavirus, that, whatever we're going through in stages of transformation, and we have to look at humanity being in a stage of transformation, and it's a constant and never-ending state of transformation. That, like puberty that we all went through, unless you're watching this and you haven't gone through that, that too passed, when we had spots and we were awkward in all different types of ways. That too passed. Everything that we go through always comes to pass. Everything. And if we work on ourselves, then it comes to pass very often sooner. There are some things that may well stay with us throughout lifetime, and it will pass when we pass. I've worked on so many different health issues. I've still got a few minor ones that are with me. And I know the deeper I go into working on myself and letting go, that too will heal and that will pass. There's just an absolute realization and real knowing that will pass. But the coronavirus, this too will pass. People are afraid of losing their properties. They're maybe losing their businesses if they're self-employed. They're afraid of losing their job if they work for a company. There's lots of uncertainty. So what's the answer? And the answer is not going to be a whole dose of certainty. Here you are, it's a big tablespoon of it. A shovelful, if you wish. There's always uncertainty in growth because there's two parts of it. There's one part of us that wants to be safe, and there's another part of us that wishes to grow. And if we're going to grow, we have to let go of safety. We have to let go of the familiar. Something Richard Bandler says is that we're always stuck in what we know. One of the co-creators of NLP, Dr. Richard Bandler. We're always stuck in what we know. So when we go through experiences like this, which is taking us out of our comfort zone, we're in places where we are learning that we can be in this new comfort zone. The mind will say, oh, but I can't be despite this happening, or despite losing my job or losing my home. But you can meet countless people who have lost far worse and have been able to be. I've worked with people who've been put inside, they've gone to prison, they've lost their home, their family, their business, they've lost everything except the sanity, their mind, and they've lost part of their ego. And they've realized that that experience that they went through served them phenomenally well because they come out of it peaceful people. They come out of it stronger. And this can happen with illness, it can happen with relationship breakups, it can happen with loss of job. Every single thing that you fear of losing, actually, if you lost it, you'd find that life is still there, supporting you. There's still a ground underneath you. There's still a sky full of oxygen. There's still food. There's still people who will support you, who will still love you. There's still a roof somewhere over your head, however, or wherever that is. And your basic needs will be met. We live in the West, and we're very, very lucky for that to be so. I've spent time in various parts of the world. I remember being in Serbia in about 3.5 years ago, and the average wage was about $4,000 a year. That's if you work for the police or a teacher. It's about £80 a week, about $100 a week, maybe a little bit more. And on the weekend, some people were going in dumpsters and trash cans, and I remember hearing how some surgeons were tattoo artists as well in order to make extra money. It's just a completely different reality to the one that I live in England, and many people in America live much more abundant lives than that. So we're very lucky. We have to count our blessings and understand that everything in life comes to pass. Poverty mindset, a mindset that won't let anybody in, so you can't love anybody, a mindset that blocks you from everything that you would wish to experience in life. All of that can change. It's all unconscious. So I think because I've been through so much shifting and change and lived with so much uncertainty, something like this that's happening in the world is very minor, and it's everything's transient. I haven't got as much work as I once had, and that may have a knock-on effect in 6 months or longer, and so be it. I have to roll with that and evolve, and there's so many different things that I can do, and I know that I can do in order to keep growing and expanding, not just in my business, but my personal life on every level. And the stages or the things that happen in life are all gifts, all things that we can use, and that adversity becomes very welcome. It becomes the it becomes the gravity. You imagine if we didn't have gravity on planet Earth and we're all kind of floating around everywhere. It's we build muscle because we have gravity. We build muscle because we have that resistance. Resistance is part of being here on planet Earth, and we have to keep clearing it. And it's here. The resistance mostly is here. It's not what happened to you. It's the story you're telling yourself about why it happened and what this means. So it's the meaning that you attach to things. I remember a story of a surfer who had his leg bitten off, and he was so compassionate towards the shark. He didn't want anybody to kill the shark or whatever. He said, "Look, I was in the shark's territory." And he said, "It's opened me up to a new way of life. I didn't realize how many people loved me, and it's not going to stop me from surfing, and it's given me a new lease of life." You hear of countless stories like this, like in Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. They needed to have a reason in order to be able to survive Auschwitz and those concentration camps. It was vitally important to have meaning, and meaning is one of the cornerstones to creating happiness in our lives. And you can create meaning now. You can create meaning in this situation and finding something to do, whether it's just as simple as checking in on neighbors, maybe not going in and doing anything, but knocking on the door or just leaving a note, or you don't have to get within 5 meters of somebody, but you could just do something to get out of yourself, just to help others, can create meaning in your life. Some people don't really do this enough, and I coach people to do things like this, and they report back that it's a part of happiness that they've never experienced before. It's something that they've never got in touch with, and they like it, and it's made them refrain from being a pleasure-seeking junkie, because happiness comes through pleasure, satisfaction, which means only when we do things that that are challenging and we have to go through adversity. Meaning, the third one, and then the fourth one is contentment. Finding contentment, happiness, contentment. Nothing is ever permanent. It's been said that only your soul is permanent. Experiences come and go. Ages come and go. People come and go. Even diseases come and go. Finances come and go. Everything is transient. Everything is in transition. Can you be with that? This too, the coronavirus, the pandemic, this too shall pass. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment and share. Wish you all the very best.